Today has been one of the worst days of my life in a long time. I'm going to give a full recap of everything that has transpired up until tonight and everything for tonight so that there will be a documentation if, God forbid, Madison City Police Department in Madison, Alabama tries to kill me or harm me because of the events that has occurred tonight. On Tuesday, I was asleep after 11 a.m. or right up to about 11 a.m. When I woke up, my tongue was stuck to my top row of teeth and my lips were sealed shut. I have sleep apnea, which causes me to not breathe in my sleep for 18% of the night. So when I wake up, sometimes my whole mouth is so dry it's like sandpaper. So when I woke up on Tuesday morning, because there was a knock at my front door, my daughter came upstairs. She said, "Mom, the police are at the door." I said, "Give me my dress or something to put on because I'm not dressed." My mouth was dry. I had to try to get saliva in my mouth to be able to get my mouth apart and to get my tongue off of my tooth because it was literally stuck. I never knew that's the first time that ever happened to me. Be that as it may, I receive a phone call. The call goes like this: "Miss Fulford?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm calling you because of a report that you made on your son Timothy. And I'm trying to close the case out. So I need to make contact with you in order to do so, to go ahead and get this off to whatever." I said, "I have not filed a police report on my son. So how are you doing a follow-up on a report that's never been made by me pertaining to my son? And oh, by the way, that call that I made to the officers 2 weeks ago or whatever, there was no physical altercation. There was no weapons or alcohol or drugs involved. No one's life was in danger. No one's life was threatened. All it was is I felt like my son owed me an apology because he spoke out of the way to me. And I told him he needed to apologize before I allow him in my house. He didn't want to apologize, but he wanted to still come in my house. So I called the police. Well, here it is 2 weeks or more later. And you're knocking at my door claiming you want to close out a case pertaining to my son. I dispute that and let you know, hey, nothing of the sort. I never wrote a report on my son. Well, I need you to open the... No, she was trying to say, "I need you to open the door. I need to speak to you face to face." I said, "I'm just waking up." I explained what was going on with my mouth about sleep apnea. I explained I'm disabled since 2001 to 2003. I woke up in a lot of discomfort. I have not taken my morning medicine. And I'm not dressed. And because of my disability, it's hard for me to go up and down my stairs quickly. And that I haven't even got the sleep out of my eyes yet. I haven't even woken up. When I woke up, my vision was blurred. I have keratoconus. My corneas are changing to the shape of footballs from a basketball shape. And that distorts my vision, causes blurred vision. I'm in stage 2. I have an astigmatism of up to 14 to 16 steps. I think more than that. I have an appointment the first week of this month. Actually, in 5 more days. Well, the conversation goes, my children and I are safe. We're at peace. No harm should come of us or has become of us. We're okay. And look, my face has been breaking out. This off subject, but out of the blue, I don't know where all these marks are coming from in my face. Like last week, my face was clear, and then all of a sudden, I'm breaking out everywhere. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the story. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to follow up on something that I never did a report on. I've never had to do that in the past. I don't understand the reason that you're here. My children and I are safe. My son was visiting that particular day. He doesn't live here. He will not be living here. So there's no reason for me to follow up on anything of that nature. Well, are your girls home? Yes, they are. They're at home. They're homeschooled. They're doing their work. They're good and in good health. I'm in good health. It's peaceful in here. I don't understand the reason for your call. Well, when it was understood that I'm not going to open my door because I am the tenant here at this apartment I signed a lease for, I pay my bills are paid, I don't have to open my front door. And I don't. So I don't even understand what the big deal is. Well, DHR will be coming to your house this afternoon. So you're threatening me because I don't have to open my door to you or anyone where I pay my bills at? Okay. Miss Fulford, you're a very intelligent lady. Excuse me? What does that have to do with anything? Why are you saying that to me? I'm like, listen, I don't feel well. I'm just waking up. I'm naked, not dressed. I don't sleep in clothes. I haven't washed my face, brushed my teeth, nothing. So I'm not coming to my door. Well, you'll be hearing from DHR this afternoon. That's a threat. It's a threat. So, I called my sister, Pamela. I told her what just happened. Then I called Madison City Police Department. On the first call, I was asked what my name was. I didn't give my name. I asked to speak to the sergeant on call. Okay, well, they're on calls in the field. I misunderstood the first time, so I was like, I'll wait for them to get off. I thought they were on a phone call. When I realized they were in the field, okay, thank you so much. I'll call back later. I call back. I say, I don't understand what's going on here. A detective showed up at my door. I refused her to come in my house. She was agitated with me. I'm fearful of my life because I don't know why you agitated with me and we never met. You're a stranger to me. I'm a stranger to you. You called me saying that you needed to close out a report on my son. that never was filed. So you lying to me to get in my house while you're a whole detective carrying a loaded gun. And then you're being irate and rude and ugly with me. And you really think I'm going to open my door when African Americans are being killed for no reason around this country? Like, I don't feel safe. I'm keeping my door closed for the safety of myself and my 2 children that's in the home. Okay, so you want to call DHR. DHR and you only can come in my house if I open my door for you. And I'm not. Not why you coming at me, and I don't even know why. So I call and I say I need to speak to the sergeant. I get a call back and I'm told that Sergeant Gordon is unavailable. So I'm going to be directed to Sergeant Adams' voicemail, and only he can listen to my voicemail. And I could leave him a voicemail. So I did. I let him know that I need to know why a detective showed up to my door. She claimed she was coming concerning a supposed report that was filed on my son by me. And I explained I never filed a report on my son. I never signed any reports. I never followed up on any reports because there was none made or created. And when I said that nothing had been created in reference to a report, and I don't understand the reason for her insisting on seeing me. She got agitated, and when I said I don't have to open my door, I'm just waking up. I sleep with a t-shirt. That's it. I'm not coming to my door in a t-shirt. And oh, by the way, we're in the middle of a pandemic that's been going on for almost 2 years. The last strain, it was a Delta. Now it's the Omicron, and it's supposed to be more transmissible and more deadly than the Delta, which the Delta was very dangerous as well. I don't interact with people. I don't interact with strangers. I don't know where you've been, who you've been in contact with. I'm trying to keep myself and my children safe. And then you're calling me agitated, and I know you carrying a gun. I don't feel safe opening my door because you could shoot me without any cause and kill me and leave my children parentless. For what? God forbid. So she hangs up in my face, and I call her back. And I'm saying, I don't know why you're going to call DHR. I haven't done anything wrong. She hangs up in my face. So I leave the message with the Sergeant Adams. I made sure that it was sent. It's all on voice record. The call where the detective Duncan called me is on record. Tammy Duncan, it's on record. It's been recorded. I record all calls. And in the state of Alabama, only one person needs to know that it's being recorded. And as long as I consent, it's legal for me to record myself in any interaction I'm having with anyone else. That's my right. That's for quality assurance purposes for myself, my safety, and my well-being when it relates to any form of business. And I thank God that I do that to protect myself. Okay, so all of the calls are recorded. Right before 4 o'clock p.m., I get a call. Miss Dolores Sears, Dolores I know it starts with an S, but it's okay, from DHR. Say, Miss Fulford, I got a call from the police telling me that I need to do a welfare check. Well, that's not what she said exactly, but I explained to her what occurred earlier that day. Everything I just said. And I explained that because officers are now shooting African Americans without cause, not asking questions, I fear for my life. I don't trust her. And I let the sergeant know I would not like for her to come back to my house. I don't trust her. Because no one should have animosity towards someone and be irate with someone that they never met and have no reason to be upset with them. And you're coming to my house with an attitude, and because I don't open my door, you get nasty with me and try to exert your authority. Not try to exert your authority, you do exert your authority and follow through on your threat. So now I'm completely disturbed. And I make the DHR worker aware of the fact that I'm disturbed at the fact that this detective came telling me a story knowing that I never wrote a report on my son. So how can I trust you to let you in my house when you've lied to me? A bold-faced lie, and it's all recorded. So I express how I'm waiting to hear back from Sergeant Adams or Sergeant Gordon. And until I'm able to hear back from them, not because of it's an issue for her to come and do a welfare check on my children, am I denying it? But because of the manner in which I'm being handled, I'm being mistreated by this detective. And she's using her authority to mistreat me and to bogart her way into my home. And it's not right to me. It's not fair. And I could completely explain that I am disabled. I'm just waking up. I have barely any saliva in my mouth to be able to talk. My teeth were stuck to my tongue was stuck to my top row of teeth. That's never happened to me before. This was the first time that's ever occurred. So, I'm sorry. You're sick or whatever. This is what the woman tells me. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so continuing the story. I'm sorry you're sick, but I really need to see you and your children. I need to see you and talk to you and your children. Well, ma'am, and I typically don't smoke on camera, none of that, but God knows I need one. So here's the rest of the story. I'm gonna try to let my head peek up here so you can see me. But he threatened to have DHR call me. The DHR worker calls me. She wants to do an in-home visit. I deny her until the sergeant gets back to me and explains why this detective was at my house in the first place. And why was she insistent on seeing me and my children? The detective Duncan, she never told the truth about why she was at my house. So, I let the DHR worker know as soon as one of the sergeants called me. Then I will oblige her request to come in my home. And I'm not trying to be difficult, but I have to draw a line in the sand when I'm being mishandled by the Madison City Police Detective Duncan. And I don't understand why she's coming at me in the manner in which she is. And for that reason, I fear for my life, my children's life and safety. Because there's no reason for her to be so agitated with me that she's threatening to call DHR. That was completely unnecessary. And be that as it may, I explained as soon as the detective supervisor calls me back, then I can oblige. I explained how African Americans are being killed without a cause, and I need to be around to raise my children. So I don't trust her because she lied to me when she came. Detective Duncan did. So the DHR worker agreed, and then I explained that I have loved ones who I believe they randomly caught the virus. And it's unsafe out here. And because of that, and because I have sleep apnea, which is a respiratory illness, and because my children are asthmatic with rescue inhalers as well as a nebulizer in the home because of their asthma, that if they catch the coronavirus, it's lethal for them as well. And so the DHR worker, she agrees, and we end our call on a good note. And I let her know, as soon as I hear something, I don't mind you coming and checking on me and my children. So fast forward this evening. Every night I take my guy his lunch at work. I leave my house around 6:30 p.m. Every night he works. And right now he's on 12-hour shifts, 6 to 7 days a week. And today, when I tried to get him his food, they said it would be a 10-minute wait at 6:45. And I'm like, okay, well, I still got time to get him his food, like right at his lunch break at 7 o'clock. After I pay for the food, then I'm told that it's not going to be a 10-minute wait. It's going to be a 25-minute wait. And I'm like, are you serious? Well, you already got my money, so I have no other choice but to stay here. I have no other choice but to stay here and wait on his lunch. So I wait. He calls me because it's after 7 by then. I'm like, babe, I'm sorry for being delayed. I'm coming with your food as soon as they give it to me. Right before I left my house, I just had found his tweezers he had been looking for days. And before I went to take him his lunch, I looked over where I thought he dropped them, found them, and stuck the tweezers in my bra. Because I said, I won't forget him there. But because I was delayed taking him his lunch is from 7 to 7:30. I did not make it to the plant until 7:26. I'm usually there at 7 on the dot or at 6:58 or 6. I'm usually at his job by 6:55, no later ever than 7:05 at the most. This is almost every night. Well, anyway, after I drop his food off, he gets his food, goes back to work, and he had given me some money. So I went and put $16 in my truck. There was 4 gallons of gas because it's $3.99 a gallon. And then I had spoke to my son, and he had asked me for something to drink. So I first stopped at Murphy and got a large Coca-Cola Icy. And then I proceeded to go to Sonic. I needed a bag of ice to take home. And then I asked my son and his girlfriend if they wanted a cup of ice. They did. So I ordered them some ice in addition to my bag of ice. And I got myself a cup of ice as well. So, once I took my son the cups of ice and I let him get some sodas out of the back of my truck, he told me that he was hungry, wanted something to eat. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to the house and I'm going to see if there's any leftovers and see what I could scrounge together. He asked for some rice. So I said, okay. I got him some rice, some margarine, some bread, peanut butter, jelly, noodles, cheese, and it was some leftover macaroni and dressing in my refrigerator as well. So I bagged it up, some vegetable egg rolls and mixed vegetables, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, basically. So after I got the food in the car, like when I first pulled up, I saw the Madison City Police back at the last building behind my building, facing towards the main office, the manager's office, and where the mailboxes are. After I saw the officer, I'm like, what the officer doing out here? Then he rode past where the mailboxes and laundromats are, turned around, and came back down towards my street. By that time, I had put the food in the car for my son, and I was getting ready to pull out. Before I pulled out, the officer stopped his car right before where my neighbor had her van parked. So I proceeded to pull out. I went over the 2 speed bumps, put my blinker on, stopped at the stop sign. The car was coming down the street. So by the time my car was coming down the street and it passed me, there was no other cars coming, so I pulled out the road, into the road. Before I could pull out into the road, the officer put his lights on me. So, sir, you were waiting for me. First and foremost, you was lurking around in my neighborhood, in my apartments where I live at. And you knew who I was. You were waiting for me. You're trying to set me up, is what you're doing. Because how be it so that you're going to randomly do a tag search on my car and you see I'm just leaving my residence. You know I live there. Y'all know my car. You see me around Madison for the last 2 years since I've had this car, since February 2019. You see me in my car. You know I live here where I live. So you singled me out. And as I was leaving my apartment parking lot, you turned the lights on. How did you have time? It's taking like 20 seconds. How did you have time to call in my tag, do a random search, and get my information and turn your lights on me in 20 seconds, if that? And oh, by the way, I had already called my son and let him know I was on the way to bring him the food I told him I was going to bring. So while you're pulling me over, my son is on a phone call with me. And that call is being recorded. So as soon as you put your lights on, it's a two-way traffic street. So in order to not be in the middle of the road, I pulled to the next corner and pulled down the hill and stopped my car. I do not have any weapons, do not have any illegal substances, drugs, or nothing of the sort in my vehicle. Nothing. As a matter of fact, I think I do have an unopened bottle of some Jack Daniel's sour something. Because I bought it, but it was never open. I had never seen that type of alcohol before, so it was bought, but the seal was on the bottle. Anyway, so when I'm stopped, I'm still on the phone with my son. And the officer gets out of his car and he says, I believe you have a warrant on. He said, no, Miss Fulford. I said, yeah. I had my window cracked. I believe you have a warrant on you. But I'm trying to confirm that. May I have your ID? How you knew my name when you came to my car? Why are you running my tag? And I'm just leaving my house. Why are you singling me out? To run my tag, you waited for me. Pull out, there was other cars coming in this apartment complex and leaving. Why didn't you stop any of them? Oh, but the plot thickens. Because you come to my car and you tell me that I have a warrant for my arrest for obstructing government operations. What in the world? What government operations? Say what? I've had no contact with anyone from the government. No personal contact with no one from the government. I don't deal with anybody but my siblings, nieces and nephews, my children. Very few associates and friends. So how be that so? That's not true, sir. There's no way. I don't get in trouble. I don't bother anybody. I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, give me 1 second. He leaves my car door and comes back. By then, I'm looking for my second phone. I called it. I hung up with my son, called it, unlocked that phone quickly, and I turned on my voice record. I didn't know what was about to happen next. So when he came back, he said, there was a note on the warrant. And the detective, Duncan, said that once I was being arrested, they needed to call her and get in touch with her. You're not under arrest. I need to look into this and see what's going on, and then I'll come back and let you know what needs to be done or whatever, something to that nature. In the meantime, I have that phone, my S10 Plus recording, voice recording, and I'm trying to call my dad. By the time I get the call out to my dad, I'm trying to get a cigarette and light a cigarette. Before I could even get the cigarette lit, my left wrist was being grabbed, the cigarette was yanked out of my mouth, my phone was yanked out of my hand. I'm like, Dad, when my dad wife answered the phone, I explained to her that I'm being stopped and I'm being arrested. They're pulling on my wrist. I have not done anything wrong. I don't understand what's going on. I told the officer, please do not touch me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I had my hands on the steering wheel from the beginning. So when he reached in at me, I'm like, please don't touch me. Why are you opening my door? I'm telling my dad they're pulling me out of my car by my wrist with a firm grip. I don't even know why this is going on. They snatched my phone out of my hand, put it on the top of my truck, and proceeded to put me in handcuffs. The way they had the handcuffs on me, it was hurting my bones in my wrist because I had on a watch on one arm and I had all of my bracelets on the other arm. And it was digging the bracelets in my arm and my watch. It was pushing the face of my watch into my bone, and it was painful. And I'm sitting there, that hurts. My wrists are hurting. I'm disabled. My back is already messed up, and the way that they pulled my arms back, it had me very uncomfortable and in a lot of pain. And I'm like, I want a cigarette. Can I please get a cigarette? Can I please get a cigarette? I don't understand what's going on. Can I please smoke a cigarette? Oh, we're going to let you smoke a cigarette when you get back to the station. So after they yanked me out of my car and put me in handcuffs and walked me over to the officer's car that had stopped me, the other officer came and went through the passenger door of my car and started rummaging through my personal items in my car. Never was I read my Miranda rights. Never did they ask if they could search my vehicle. And I'm asking the officer, why are they going through my car? Why are they going through my personal belongings? What is going on? Why are they searching through my stuff? He lies and tells me they're taking inventory because they're getting the car impounded. That was a lie. They never had any sheet of paper out writing out anything that was in my car. They were literally rummaging. This officer was literally rummaging through my car without a search warrant, without probable cause to be searching through my car. They went through the bags on the floor that had my son's food. They went through my console. They took out my pouch that I had that I don't carry. I keep it in my car, so if my children need to go to the doctor, their Medicaid cards and stuff are in here. This is my old ID. They took this out of my console, and please tell me why it was in my purse when they gave me my purse back. And please tell me why my mace is missing out of my keys. And please tell me why they going through the things in my car. And by this time, I'm very agitated. And I'm like, can I have a cigarette? And where's my phone? So while he's rummaging through my car, he starts going through all the doors, opening and closing, opening and closing. I'm sitting there, can you get your sergeant, your lieutenant, your sergeant here on the scene? Because I don't understand what's going on here right now. And I have not committed any crimes. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have not done anything wrong. Why is he going and rummaging through my car? He's like he's taking inventory. No, sir, you are not taking inventory. You are literally rummaging through my car. I hear you rambling through everything in my car. What are you looking for? What do you think I got? I'm a law-abiding citizen for real. Like, I love the Lord. I don't get in no trouble, drama. I told them I go to my doctor, I go to get gas, I get groceries for my children, and I sit my ass down at home. Only other thing I do is take my guy his lunch 7 o'clock every night. That's it. No fail. I don't do nothing. I don't bother nobody. I be in too much pain. Even under pain management, I'm still in a tremendous amount of pain. I don't have no way to do nothing because I don't be feeling up to do hardly nothing. I'm sickly. I'm disabled. So finally, God brings me a cigarette, lights it. and the cigarette's trying to drop out of my mouth. I'm like, can you please put the cigarette in my mouth the right way? I'm smoking it. When I get down on the cigarette, then he asks to take it out of my mouth. I'm like, go ahead. He throws it on the ground. Sergeant comes up. Okay, you want to talk to the sergeant? Here he is. I'm trying to figure out, why am I being arrested? Why am I being detained? How do I have a warrant on me? I have not done anything wrong. I'm not a criminal. What is wrong? What's going on? Well, I don't know, ma'am. I know there's a warrant for your arrest. When did I get a warrant? And oh, by the way, I'm instructed to get in the back of the car and it could get worked out at the station because they don't know what all of this is about. Really? You don't? But y'all went through all this orchestrated mess up until this point, but you don't know what it's about. So when we get to the police station, he gets me out of the car. He has my purse. It's in the front seat. After they went through everything in my purse and wallet, because my wallet was not attached, he sets my wallet up on the desk after he puts me in the holding cell. And he takes my handcuffs off and then takes the handcuffs and attaches it to the little bar that's on the seat in the holding cell. Then the lieutenant, the black guy, I can't remember his name, he's standing over there and he's saying that there's a document saying that I refuse tutoring for my children from the Madison City schools, and that apparently is being alleged, that's what is being alleged, as well as something about I'm refusing tutoring for my children when my children are not even enrolled in the Madison City School District. My children are enrolled in online homeschool. I applied for Connections Academy. They didn't respond. I applied for another school, Athens Renaissance, for numerous online schools I did. At the beginning of the school year, I went to the Board of Education and asked for my children's records, transcripts, end of year report card for last school year, and I explained to them that because they do not offer remote learning for my children this school year, and that because of the fact that they have a health condition of asthma, and they are on rescue inhalers and a nebulizer is in the home for them, and because I have sleep apnea, which is also a respiratory illness, that it's unsafe for my children to attend school with the regular children, with the other children, and that I'm going to put them in homeschool. They was notified of that. School started in August. Today is December the 2nd. My children were never enrolled in Madison City School District for the school year 2021 to 2022. So how be it so possible for Madison City School District to lie and say that I'm refusing tutoring for my children and they never were in tutoring? They never attended school, not even one day in their school. I never completed any registration for them to attend school. And I went and got their records, end of the year report cards from the Board of Education. So you knew my children were in homeschool. So you fraudulently contacted the police station and you involve yourself in business that is none of your concern. Madison City Schools has no right to report anything concerning my children to the police station or nobody, because my children aren't even registered in your system. They're registered online in homeschool, online, remotely. And then, oh, by the way, how can I be obstructing government operations and I haven't had any interaction with any government operations? How is that so? So you mean to tell me that Tammy Duncan, or whatever her name is, Duncan, T. Duncan, I'm going to call her T. Duncan, went to a judge, perjured herself, lied, and claimed that I'm obstructing something that I'm completely oblivious and ignorant to? I know nothing about. And then after you have me placed under a bogus warrant, then they want to claim that I resisted arrest, which I did not. I explained that I'm disabled and I could not quickly get up out of my vehicle. And I was also in the process of trying to smoke a cigarette and explain to my dad what was going on, so that if I needed his assistance, he would know what was going on. And you yanked my phone out of my hand. You was wrong for that. You was yanking on my wrist for I don't know what reason, causing me pain. And then, oh, by the way, after the sergeant reads and says, it's saying here that you refuse tutoring, well, my children aren't in that school, so there's no reason for there to be no offer of tutor. I haven't had any contact with the school district or school system since I got their transcripts and end of year report cards for last school year. My lips are chapped, and I know y'all, so they were actually in there burning. I've been talking too much with no lubrication on my lips. Such is life, but continuing. So there, I don't know, this is something civil. What do you mean this is civil? That's some, if it's civil, it's not something you should be getting involved with. So they take the papers, and the officer that arrested me says, I'm putting this in your purse. I'm still not served. You're not serving me. Putting something in my purse while I'm supposed to be under arrest. And oh, by the way, you didn't even read me my rights, my Miranda rights. You didn't even tell me you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to a attorney. You didn't run none of that down to me. And when I got to the holding cell, you never booked me. You did not take my mug shots. You did not do fingerprints or anything. You took these documents that Miss Tammy Duncan had given you. It wasn't even a warrant. You didn't even produce a warrant initially. You started telling me what Madison City Schools, Liberty Middle School, and James Clemens had to say about my children that are not even enrolled in their system. How be it so? You can't call the police about a child that's not enrolled in your school? Say what? As my children's parent, I have every right to choose what school I would like them to be in. And whatever they are going through academically is none of Madison City School District's business. Doesn't matter if they're in church school, home school, ghetto school, whatever school. As long as they're in school and have attendance in any school, it's none of Madison City School business. So who are you to go calling detectives and whatever concerning my children? And then, oh, by the way, once you The officer throws the papers in my purse while I'm still in a holding cell, handcuffed to a bench. I'm asking for my phone. Little do they know, this is what I believe had occurred. When the detective came to my house and I refused her entry into my home, she decided to exert her authority and falsify a warrant request to a judge. She perjured herself and lied that I was obstructing government operations, which I was not. I had no interaction with no government officials, period. I had not been verbally or in writing by anyone invited to court or no such thing. So this detective lied to the judge to get him to sign off on a warrant to have me arrested. They set me up to have an officer be waiting for me in my apartment complex in the parking lot in order for him to falsely, supposedly run my tag. No, you came here for me. You were right at my address. It's mighty ironic. How is it coincidental that you just happened to be at Miss Fulford's address in her neighborhood and you just happen to decide to run her tag, and oh, by the way, she just happens to have this warrant that's supposedly obstructing government operations, and then she just happens to be on the phone with her son, and because she on the phone, you got to get her out of the car. This is what happened. They removed me from my car forcefully, manhandled me, snatched my phone out of my hand. And would you believe that while they had me outside of my car, while the officer was rummaging through my car, one of those officers took the phone that I had made a call to my dad while they were trying to detain me, and they went in my personal phone. Because all my calls are recorded, they deleted the call that my son and I was on in my call recorder app, and they deleted the call where I called my dad that say mom and dad. They went in my personal property and deleted my call recordings. And they had to get me out of my car to get access to my phone. They had to put handcuffs on me to get access to my devices. And the only reason why my main phone was not locked is because I was just on a call. My eyes, as drama lenses ain't acting right or not acting right, but be that as it may, all of this was a ploy, and they were trying to to get rid of any evidence of how they was mishandling me right then and there. So if by chance any of that was being recorded so there would be any witnesses that could speak on what happened, they could try to dispute what I said. If they had deleted all of those calls, then that means I wouldn't have no evidence to prove that I was wrongly being pulled over, that I was wrongly had a warrant out for my arrest, because I had not committed any crimes. I have done nothing wrong. I have every right to put my children in online school. I pay $50 a month for them. And oh, by the way, while the other officer was going through my car when they got me out in handcuffs, he realized my second phone was in the car. And he must have touched it, because when he touched it, the recording button, the mic button was flashing. And he's sitting there in the car scrambling. How the fuck do I turn off this phone? God damn it. How do I turn this phone off? He was trying his best to make sure there was no evidence of what they had just done to me. And God said, not so. I serve a wonderful master. Our Heavenly Father has